and why we what is which server it is. So generally, this is a server means which server it is. So what is which server? So the server is providing a service. Server provide a service. The client will take that service in general. Right? Server providing a service. Okay. So what service it is? It can be a web service. It can be a IP address service like DHCP service. It can be like a name to IP address type of thing. Maybe you can able to upload and download a files, and maybe a streaming service, deployment service, update service, okay, remote desktop service. So what meaning is a server, you call something as a server means when you call which type of server it is based on the what services it is providing, what services it is providing. Okay, so server is actually a physical machine. Server is a machine. The service is coming out of server. Okay, you are unable to access the service. You are unable to access the service means something is happened to your server also there. Okay, something is happened to your server. That's why you are unable to access the service. For example, I try to open a web page. That web page is not opening. There is a problem. Maybe there is a problem with your server. Okay, like that we can also understand the issues. That's why I split the word into server and services instead of only server. Services also very important. And we'll start from here. Where is your batch? Okay. The first one is peer-to-peer. What is peer-to-peer? So in a peer-to-peer, it is very simple. It is a simple workgroup model type. It's not a server and client model. It is just a normal computers connected in the network. Okay, normal computers connected in the network, sharing some information or communicating some information. For example, this is PCA having a certain data. Some data is there. It shares the data from PCB accessing this particular data through network. Contains the data, it is accessing from PCB. Okay, so a data is there in PCA, PCB is accessing. Means it is providing a data, it is accessing data. But it is not like that, not like a permanent server or client model it is. It's a temporary model only in the particular instant only. Okay, devices are connected in the network, so they share the information among with them, sharing the resources. For example, I have a printer. So this printer is connected to PCB. Now, a PC is trying to access this printer, through network. Okay. So this is also like a B is providing print service, A is accessing print services. It is in that instant only. Okay, not always. So what is the peer-to-peer? Peer-to-peer devices are connected in the network and sharing information or resources. So no centralized control, no centralized server it is. But in a server and client model, server provides a service, client access the service. Exactly same. Already I told this point, right? So I have a server. Server provide a service. Server will provide a service. client access the service. It is a single server and multiple clients. Server provide a service, client access the service. But originally it is like this. Client request for a service. Okay, client send a request. Server send a response. Okay, without a client requesting, server don't give any service. So client should be send a request to get a service. Okay, so client request for a service to the server and server send a response to the client. Simple example, you have a web server and web server contain web pages and it provide a web service. The client using a web browser. Okay, in a web browser we are trying to access the website. Okay? They are trying to access the website from web server. Okay, so also you can also try what is peer-to-peer and server and client in a different definitions and examples also good. So I put a peer-to-peer and server and client model here. Okay. So already I told server and client models. In the server, it is based on the services. Server is based on the services. Okay, mainly based on the services. We have a server and we are calling this server as some server based on what service it is providing. Either it can be a one service or multiple service. So based on what service it is providing, we call that server. Okay, like a web server providing web pages. So how it is a server become a server? A server become a server. Okay, by installing some applications. Server is just a machine, but if it can able to provide certain service, it can able to provide a certain service because of by installing some application or a feature or a role or small package with that one, so it become a server. For example, a web server providing a web services over the protocols of HTTP or HTTPS by installing Apache HTTPD package or in a Microsoft Windows servers. There is a Microsoft Internet Information Service role into the Microsoft server operating system, then it become a web server. Or by installing Tomcat application, or maybe installing Glassfish application. There are a lot of applications are there. These are example applications. And you can make a server as a file server. So by installing FTP service in the IIS, or by installing certain packages like a FTP, vsftp kind of stuff. DHCP, by installing DHCP role or a package into a machine, then it become a DHCP server. So dynamic host configuration protocol, DHCP itself, a protocol, right? So 67, 68 port number. Okay. What is DHCP server will do? It provide an IP address to the client machine. Next, DNS server. So a server become a DNS server, domain name system server, port number 53. It maps name to IP address. You ask for IP address for a particular domain name or a host in the domain name. So you will get an IP address. Active Directory or domain controller or Active Directory server or a domain controller, which is a authentication server. It use Kerberos protocol for authenticating users. Port number is 88. WDS means Windows Deployment Server. Windows Deployment Server and other type of deployment servers are there in Microsoft Windows. By installing WDS role, it become Windows deployment server. What is this deployment server will do? We can deploy an operating system. Means I have 10 computers are there. Or 10 computers are connected into the network. All are connected into the network. Okay, I have to install a operating system in these 10 computers. I want to install a operating system into these 10 computers through network. So how it is possible? I'll take WDS server. In WDS server, I put this operating system image. Then I will install operating system to these 10 computers. That is WDS server. Mail servers use a protocols like a SMTP, POP3 and IMAP. If you want to make a server as a mail server, okay, you have to install an application like a MS Exchange or Zimbra kind of application you have to install. Then it become mail server. VPN server, virtual private network server to connect your infrastructure through over the internet. So we use a VPN server. Virtualization server. What is virtualization server, guys? Nowadays we are all going to the cloud computing. Okay, remote access virtual machines and all we are doing. So how it is possible? Because of virtualization platform. Virtualization server are basically hypervisors. Different hypervisors are there, like a Microsoft Hyper-V, VMware vSphere, Citrix Zen Server, or Proximox VE, or Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. Okay, it is a server. In that server, we can create a virtual machines. Okay, virtualization server, we can create a virtual machines in that servers, and in the virtual machine you can install a operating system inside. Storage servers NAS type, different storage servers. One thing is like a FTP servers, SAN, NAS kind of servers also there. Storage server means lot of like for storage purpose. Okay, managing storage related. Okay, so it can be a FTP or NAS type of server, network attached storage server, CAFS, common internet file system server, like a Samba servers, or it can be a SAN, storage area network, or it can be a RAID concept implementation, or SCSI, iSCSI. So very simple to say, this is storage server. Database server, another type is database server, where we store the database in the tabular form. Oracle database server, you install a Oracle database application in the server, so automatically it is Oracle DB server. If you install MS SQL, then it is become a Microsoft SQL server. Install MySQL, then it is a MySQL server. So a server become a butler server, and it is providing a service by installing a role or a feature of that server operating system, or by installing the package related to the server operating system, or by installing certain application on that server, so it is able to provide a service. Different type of servers are there based on what service it is providing. Web servers, file server, DHCP server, DNS server, DHCP server, domain controllers, deployment servers, mail servers, VPN server, virtualization server, database server, storage servers, remote desktop servers, like that. So,
Sir,
yeah, tell me.
sir, like WDS server, so there are only one primary CPU for all the like systems.
No.
Basically,
WDS
how
server,
WDS server works.
I will tell you. Very good. This is my WDS server. Means it contains original operating system is Windows Server operating system only. Windows Server OS only. In that one, I install a WDS role. Okay. So what you will do it, it contains a service. First of all, DHCP. And that one again, boot P services are there and WDS. So combination work it is. So I have a computer. It's a fresh computers means it does not contain any operating system or I choose I will change some boot menu kind of stuff, deploy operating system into these computer kind of stuff. Okay, all are connected in the network, so I'm not trying that one. So here it is, these client PCs. So already I said guys, server provide a service, client access the service. But again, I changed that thing because server providing client accessing in exactly what will happen. Client request to the server and server give a response. Always it is happens. So what happened? This is the, for example, a client PC. Okay, so inside a configuration boot with a network, like you have a computer, you have a computer, you turn on your computer. So you turn on your computer means you press the power button. What happened inside a computer? So it will check the priority of operating system priority, load OS from the hard disk. Someone send a message. Okay. Okay. So in this computer, so it is configured like this, load operating system. First priority is try to load operating system from hard disk. Okay, in another computer, maybe load operating system from pen drive, first option. Okay, so you in your hard disk, you have a operating system, it will load it from hard disk only. Otherwise, it will go for other options. Maybe it is completely, some people don't know this thing. Okay, so very simple to understand. You have a computer. When you power on the computer, OS in the hard disk will be loaded to your system, right? In your system, OS in the hard disk will be loaded. Okay, so that is inside a system, right? So in system, it is hard disk is there, operating system is there. Right. But here also same thing. In this system also we have a motherboard, processor, and everything, and operating system, hard disk, everything is there. For example, it is a fresh machine, means this machine don't have any operating system. The machine don't have any operating system. In that one, I give a priority like this. Okay, check the operating system from network, hard disk, okay, and USB, like that. I given a priority order. So as per my network priority, okay, we try to search where is an operating system. We don't know. Okay, the client don't know who is providing this WDS service. Client don't have any operating system. Client don't have any IP address. Client don't have any IP address. Okay, client don't know how to get the operating system from the remote server. So what it will do, it will send a broadcast the packet to everyone. So in the packet, it is request for a boot P and DHCP request. Okay, so why DHCP request is there? So first of all, To communicate in the network, you need an IP address. To communicate in the network, you need a IP address. So first of all, it's searching for a bootp server and a DHCP server. Both are mixing here. Okay. So whenever this server find like yes, this is a client asking for a IP address with a DHCP and a bootp, then it will provide a first. It will give an IP address. Then it do give bootp using bootp. It is boot this PC. Okay. It boot the PC and it will ask, do you want to load operating system from our PC and a list of operating systems also. What are the operating systems are listed in the my server? It will display here. So these are the list of operating system. Which one you want to install? Then I choose one of the operating system. Then it will be installed in my PC. Normally, guys, very simple to understand WDS and other things. Very simple. You have a computer. You have a computer. You want an operating system, you don't have an operating system, or your operating system is corrupted, or you want to change your operating system. What you will do? Earlier days, we insert a CD, operating system CD, we install a operating system. Nowadays, we don't have a CD-ROMs, then we ask a pen drive like a operating system contained pen drive. We connect the pen drive and install operating system using that pen drive. But either you use pen drive or CD, you are using a media. You are using a media to install operating system. And you have one computer, no problem. For example, in your office, you have a 10 computers are there. You have a 10 computers, 20 computers, 30 computers. So can we install multiple computers with a single pen drive? You want to install for a 10 computers. One by one you have to install. Like first we go to first machine, install operating system, then go to another machine, install an operating system. Like one by one you have to go. Right? That is the first point. Otherwise, if you have a 2-3 pen drives, then you can parallelly install one by one. Even that is also burden. That is also burden. And the less advantages when you have more computers and all computers are connected to the network, you can deploy operating system to all 10 computers through network. Okay, it means 10 computers we can install operating system at a time through network using WDS server. I think this is easy to get the point. So you have a very simple. Instead of more explanation, very simple. This is the WDS server. I have a 10 computers are there in the network. Or 20 computers are there in the network. Manually installing one by one, it is very difficult. So through network, so through WDS, we can install operating system to all 10 computers at a time. At a time. Okay. So that's WDS. Okay, guys. I think so. If you don't get it also, it's not a big deal, but try to understand that because it's also very useful. WDS update server. I didn't written a lot of server names. Windows update server is there. You know, our Windows 10 is getting updated every in a week, 2-3 days. Okay, it keep updates, right? So that will give us little problem, right? Windows server updates. Only one PC update, it's okay. We are connected to internet. One PC update is okay, no problem. Think like you are working in an organization, there is a 30-40 computers are there. All 30-40 computers want to update. So how much burden on your internet? How much burden on your internet. So a lot of burden on internet. So it is very difficult to manage. So what we will do it? So we take a WSUS server, Windows Server Update Service. Okay. This update server, what is this update server will do it? It download the updates into the local server and it updates the local machines through LAN network. Okay. You want to download updates, we have to use internet WAN network. Internet WAN network. Okay. So once it is downloaded and it distribute that updates to the local PCs using LAN network like that. Okay. So again, server based on a services. Sometimes we can call a server and based on its operating system installed. Okay, it is very easy to use a server operating system install instead of making something as a server. Okay, so there is a server operating system like a from Microsoft Windows servers. From NT it is a first Windows server, NT server, then 2000, 2003, 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 16, 2019, 2022 is the latest server operating system. Linux is another hand, different Linux servers are there. Linux based operating system and server operating systems are there like a Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Fedora, Debian. There are so many Linux operating system. Unix based operating systems, HP, UX, Solaris kind of stuff. And even IBM has its own operating systems to become a server. Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V server. It's a direct virtualization server. I didn't written more servers because I've written here virtualization server. All are direct operating systems only. Microsoft Hyper-V server, VMware vSphere server, Xen server, Proximox VE. These are all directly virtualization server operating system. Directly can install into the server, become a virtualization server. Okay. So why I put a double star here? Because all these are server operating system which does not provide any service. It's a server operating system. You have to install a role or a feature or maybe a package or maybe an application in it. Then only it is act like a particular server. But Hyper-V servers, VMware vSphere server, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization servers, okay, Xen servers. These are directly virtualization. Whenever you install that server operating system, it become virtual server directly. Not virtual server, virtualization server or server virtualization. Next, different hardware we use in the servers, guys. Server means in the sense of physical machine, in the sense of operating system, in the sense of service. Three things. Normal laptops or desktops won't work like a server. The server is required a powerful hardware. Okay, so not a i3, i5 processor. It required a Xeon type of processor, big RAM capacity, multi-core processors. Okay, multi-core processor, multiple processors. Okay, multiple processor we can put it. Okay. Mm. Other things like storage and other things also different from the regular desktop or a laptop server machines. Again, server based on the different hardwares we are using, and in that one again, tower servers, rack mount servers or rack servers, and blade servers. Tower servers are nothing is look it is nothing but it is look like a desktop. Okay, so our actual desktops originally it is like it is flat, but later our desktop become a tower server. Our desktops are mini towers. These are the high towers. It is server. It's 4,53,000. Less cost servers also there. It depends upon their processor and the facilities. Okay. So these are the tower servers. If you have a, if you in your organization, you require 2-3 servers, just 2-3 servers only, not more. Then we can go for a tower server because it's contain again like a desktop. It contains a keyboard, mouse, and monitor. Of course, that is a common for anything, for everything. But important is like a power connection, network connection, cabling. It's an individual server. You can carry this server to any place. Okay, it's an individual server. You can carry to any place, and lesser the servers requirement, so we can move to the individual server. Now we want it, we'll buy as per our requirement. Okay, so next one is rack server. Rack servers are look like this one. Okay, rack servers. So I will directly put it. So can you see rack servers are yeah, see, this is the rack server, this is the blade server. See, rack means it's a one single rack contains a single server. This is a rack. This is completely one rack. Okay. This entire rack is become one single server and multiple racks are there. Multiple servers we can able to insert into this thing. Okay. Like this is a empty rack. So we can insert multiple racks into this one. Like this. This is a single rack. Okay, of course, it contains a SCSI insertion, like we can insert a hard disk here. There is a multi-processor is there, backside power connection, network connection. See, he is removing a rack from the data center. Okay, yeah, you want to buy second-hand kind of stuff, you can server basket. Okay, is removing rack server from
Sir,
the
what
network.
is this?
What it is?
What it is for?
It is a server, like you have a laptop,
Yes, sir.
desktop. So what is the purpose? It's a computer, right? It's a computer. Install operating system we are using. Similarly, it's a different hardware sizes and facilities inside. Okay. Towers are, we can't arrange the towers like this. Like this, towers we can't arrange because when you are using a towers, it required more space. You need more servers. In the less space, we choose rack server or blade servers. It's only the module or the size is different. The way of inserting, connecting is different. But it works like a regular computer only. But different hardware component. Instead of i3, i5 processor, it contains a Xeon processor. RAM capacity is different. Connectivity is different. Also, you can see there is any closer look is there. Actually, we can open these things also.
But is it for
But when I
store the
open
data?
this, you can use it to store the data also. It is used to store the data, means like you have a computer, you can able to store the data. You can install a operating system in it. Like if I install a Windows Server operating system, then I can make that one as a particular type of server it is. Okay, it is look like, see, it is in the back side. Can you see this some small rounds and all is there now? That is we can open directly, we can insert a hard disk. Okay, like this, not this one. See, it is. So these are a SCSI SAS disk, we can able to insert it. Okay, so for storing a data also possible. This is inside of this server. This is inside like a some storage RAMs or things are there. So processor slots, okay, and other components. See, SMPS connections, um, some other connections also there here, and I don't require 365. This is tower server. So same thing will go to for. So I am having a fear of opening this one. If you open something in Google, and I will get a keep on advertisements. This is the rack. Can you see this is the rack? This is also a server. Server means, guys, it is also a computer. But in our computer, we use i3, i5 processor kind of stuff. Okay, see, this is the also having a hard disk connectivity. Disk we can able to insert it inside. We want to see inside of this one, right? See inside of this server. It is nothing but a server or a computer. Both are same. Both are having a processor. Both are having a RAM. Both are having a hard disk or SSD. Okay. Both are having a BIOS. Okay. See, RAM memory is 16 GB. Two 16 GBs that are in setting. RAID controllers. Additionally, servers having a RAID controller, SCSI connectivity, SCSI. Okay, SAS type of disk. Okay, SCSI connectivity, and some servers having fiber optical network connections, high speed data transmission purpose. It's no operating system. You want to install a server operating system like this, you have to pay like this. Data center.
Sir, is there any connection between hardware and BIOS?
Hardware and
BIOS, sir.
BIOS.
Yes, sir.
BIOS. Yeah. BIOS is nothing but your ROM chip. Okay. There is a program inside your ROM chip. Like you have RAM and ROM is there, no? And on ROM chip, there is a program called a BIOS. The BIOS is a firmware. It's a small program inside your ROM chip. So ROM is on the motherboard. So, okay, ROM is on a motherboard. Okay, guys, this is how rack servers are look like. Next is a blade servers. So next is a blade server. So I am searching for a blade. Yeah, is inserting blades. Only difference, this blade, single blade. Where is a blade? Yeah. So here it is, blade server. The blade itself, it's a small in size, but still it is a blade. Blade means it is also a server, but it is smaller than a rack. Rack is a bigger and larger, and it occupy one single rack space. Single rack space. It is a tower, it is rack. This is single rack. But in a blade, so in a single place, like I'm searching, right? Yeah, here it is. So this is a blade server. It is a combination of multiple blades inside one single unit or single rack. Okay, in single rack we have a multiple blades inside. There is something like a blade come out kind of stuff will be there. You put someone put like a see towers like this. So how much space and how much wiring is there? Okay, so that much wiring will be reduced by using rack or a blade. The blade will occupy lesser the space as compared to rack and tower. Okay, so very simple to know whatever we are seeing. These are all data center guys. These are all called data centers. Data center means it's a combination of servers, storage devices, networking components like a routers, switches, cables, firewalls, whatever it is. It's a combination of multiple things. Okay. In data centers, we usually use either rack or a blade servers for a server purpose. So, and there is a subject called a data center monitoring. It's a regular PC inside. Whether it is a tower server or rack server or blade server, it is nothing but a server. So it is nothing but a computer. Basically, a computer means a processor, motherboard, RAM, BIOS, of course, ROM chip, okay, and other peripherals, components, NICs, hard disk, power connections. Okay, these are a common. And additionally, when you call something as a server, like either it is tower server or blade server or a rack server kind of stuff, there's a certain additional things will be there, like a RAID controllers, onboard RAID controllers or SCSI controllers. Okay, like that. So some additional things are there, and server hardwares for suitable for server purpose only, not for a regular desktop purpose. Not suitable for a regular desktop purpose because of server hardware is costlier. Okay, which server we choose, it depends upon our requirement. Again, so what is the data center, guys? In a data center, meaning is it's a very simple arrangement which contains servers, okay, network related things like a router, switches, fiber optical connections, okay, host bus adapters kind of stuff, NICs, firewall, so many network related things, storage related things like a hard disk, SCSI disk, okay, RAID controllers. These are all also available. So it's a whole combination of servers, network, and storage devices, and also data center having a powerful cooling system and power supplies also provided. And there is a subject called a data center monitoring. What is this data center monitoring? Monitor the data center. So physical environment of data center, where you put a data center, that physical environment monitoring, like how much temperature is there, how much humidity is there, how much temperature is there, how much humidity is there, what is the how power supply is there, how power supply is there. Next, the servers, whether servers on or off conditions, network network function, storage function. Okay, so monitoring the storages, network components, and servers and their services and the operating systems, performance of applications. So monitoring everything, every component in the data center. Okay, so this is a very simplest point. So next one is work group and domain. So before going to work group and domain, I will give you important points in the servers and services. What is peer-to-peer? you need to go to these lines only. You can read it from any other thing, but don't change the meaning. Okay, the meaning should not be changed. What is peer-to-peer? What is client and server and client? Okay, and what is the server? What is server? So what are the different type of servers based on the services and their service names, protocols, port numbers? Better to know it. What is a server? Operating systems are available. First three only, not IBM and all. Don't go for it. It will confuse you. Okay. So Windows servers operating system is there. Windows desktop operating system is there. Windows 10 is not server. Windows 10 not a server. Windows 11 not a server. Okay. Those are desktop operating system. Windows server operating systems are separate. Linux servers, Unix servers. And based on the server hardware is different from regular desktop hardware. Okay, the hardware components like a CPU, RAM, motherboard, okay, disk are more powerful, more different from the regular desktop hardware components. Next, in the servers, like I want to put a server, so I want to put a server in my organization. So it depends upon my requirement. I choose tower server, a rack server, or a blade server. The tower server means it is look like our regular desktops only, which is like a regular desktop, like a tower model, standing model, tower servers. Tower servers are useful when you want to move from one place to another place, or means usually for a changing. And tower servers we use only if very limited servers requirement, then only we choose tower servers. More servers requirement, more servers are required for our organization, for our client and the running point of kind of stuff. So we choose rack servers or blade servers. So when we put this rack server or blade server, storage devices, okay. Storage means NAS storages, SAN storages, RAID controllers, iSCSI boxes, networking components like a router, switches, connections, fiber optical connections, cabling, kind of stuff. So this whole combinations make as a single data center or multiple data centers. Okay. The cost of single data center without servers and any other components, the empty box itself, it is a very costly. People who want a data center in their premises for their project, they have to pay a lot of money. So cost is effective is there. So depends upon the project versus data center and income versus data center. So they will choose the data center. We don't get it. Okay. No problem, guys. There is a word called data center. So search for a data center like a Google data center. What you will do it? Very simple. Google data center. Microsoft data center. See it is data center. You can get very easily if you are using this word. Google data center. Okay. These are all data centers. What is this? It is just a cross photo only, but each data center, each rack like this, each rack contains servers, networking components, storage devices, like that, firewalls. So it depends upon, yeah, it's a Facebook data center. Okay. Facebook data center. So it is Facebook data center. But everything look like almost same, right? So yes, because it's either it can be a switch or router, or it can be anything. Okay. Data center monitoring. How to monitor the data center? What are the different components of data center is also an important. What is data center? What are the components of data center? What is the use of what is meaning of data center monitoring? Okay, the tools you use for a data center monitoring is also try yourself. Okay, so you can search it, so you will find that some information. Guys, next one is we are going to discuss about work group and domain after small break or take big break like 10-15 minutes. Okay.